Hi, Dave here, Dave's Vintage Baseball Cards, and I'm bringing you today an exciting find. We're calling it the Chattanooga, Tennessee find, and it was about 2 weeks ago. Flew down to Atlanta to meet with these people and picked up this collection, and I'm going to get into that story, but before I do, I want to go ahead and show you some of the different things that were in this collection. Let's start off by talking about the contents of this collection. There was 350 cards. It was mostly, well, it was all tobacco cards, mostly the issues from New Orleans down south there. For starters, there was 17 different Minos, and you can see the image that I'm putting in of the, what a large collection of 17 different. It's pretty amazing to find them in one place. Then we also had general baking, and we had both types of general baking. We had the D304s from 1911 through 1914. Okay, I'm going to show you some more of those in just a minute. So there's the D304s, general baking cards. There was 7 of those, including Cobb, Mathewson, Honus Wagner, so some big names there. This here is a Hal Chase, and this is a D303 general baking, as you can see. In fact, let's turn that one backwards so you can look at the front of that and then check Christy Mathewson, beautiful card, a 30. There's another one that we already had in stock, which was a 10, and then there was about 23 different of the general baking, and we had some duplicates, which you see here, which I'm also offering out. Now, we also had some difficult cards here with the Kottons. More difficult than the normal Kottons is these are the ones that are actually paper thin. As you can see, it says there right on the label. We just got these 150 cards or so back from SGC last week. So we have 3 left of the Kottons with the thin paper. Also in the group was some of the T207s, some of the more difficult ones with the anonymous backs, including a Lewis. I'll go into that a little bit more in just a minute. This whole stack here was, these are all cotton backs, and a couple of the highlights here. Christy Mathewson, Cobb, so it's got a little bit of ink on the back. We also have just this one E98 Joe Tinker. Okay, and over here we have the T213 Type 2 coupon cards. Okay, there was about 230 of these. The only thing that I graded here, we didn't grade the commons because, you know, these are, while they are rare, they're not nearly as rare as some of the other ones. So we graded all the Hall of Famers in these 2 boxes here. These are just Hall of Famers. Bender, With and Without Trees, Brejnahan, Mordecai Brown, nice selection of Ty Cobbs, a couple with the, you know, red background. There's about 4 of the ones with the bat off. Collins. We had Walter Johnson in the group. A lot of big names. Christy Mathewson in the group. John McGraw. Tris Speaker. 10s and 20s. You know, from SGC, there's a total of 4 of the Tris Speakers, and we have, you know, some Tinkers. From Tinkers, there was a chance. There's a couple of cards in the group that were really in bad shape, but for the most part, they were decent. Okay, so you've seen some of these great cards. As I was saying, there's about 350 of them that we brought back. We sold about 40 or 45 cards right off the bat to a couple of my customers who just couldn't wait, and I sent about 150 of them back to SGC to get them graded. Those are all back now, so everything that we have left is in stock on the website and ready for you to look at it, and you can buy what you like. As far as the story goes, got contacted several months ago, initially, maybe actually last year or earlier this year, by a woman who said she had received a card for a silent auction and she wanted to get some information on it. She actually had been visiting my website already for about 10 years. We'll get into that in just a minute. I gave her the information about the card. I said, well, gee, put a bid in for me. I'd be interested in that. And of course, I didn't hear back from her for quite some time. Then several months ago, I got another email from her asking me a question about a Mino back card, which I thought was kind of odd, but okay, I gave her the information, didn't hear back again. And then probably about a month ago or so, I got another email from the same woman asking me if I would like to buy some general baking and some coupon cards. I said, well, of course I would. Send me more information. How many do you have? So they sent me an entire list of the cards. There was about 230 of the coupons and about 40 or 45 of the general bakings, the D303s and D304s that I showed you there. The images were fantastic. They were in big PDF files, and I could blow them up 200, 300, 400%. So I could get a really clear picture of just what the conditions of these cards. And so we started talking about a price. She put me on the phone to negotiate with her husband, and after we finished agreeing on a number for that part of the deal, he says, you know, we have some other cards that I didn't tell you about. I said, well, I seem to recall getting an email from your wife about a Mino back. I said, you wouldn't happen to have Mino backs, would you? And he said, as a matter of fact, we do. Turns out he had 17 different Mino backs, and there was about a half a dozen duplicates. To give you an idea of how rare those cards are, in the 20 years or so that I've been buying and selling cards, 15 years, 16 years on the internet, I've only actually owned 2 of them. And one of them was a Ty Cobb. And there was a Ty Cobb in his group also. So that was quite exciting to find that large group of those. But general bakings, once again, an extremely rare group. You know, there was 23 different players in the D303s. And the other thing that he had was he had the Kotton backs. And on top of that, there was some really beat up looking T207s. And first glance going through them, I'm thinking, well, these are kind of rough, no big deal. But they were all the anonymous packs, difficult cards, including one of the most difficult cards in the hobby, and that would be the Lewis with no emblem. Another rarity that we found in that collection was one of these Virginia extras from the People's Tobacco Company, a T216 related to the Mino backs and the Cottons. This is, once again, like those Cottons that I have, this is printed on the thin paper. It's not cardboard. There was a Christy Mathewson in a 20 holder. There was a Honus Wagner, which ended up a little bit chippy on the front and back, went into a 10 holder. But then there was the big daddy in that set, also the Ty Cobb, and you can see there's a little chipping there. And minor. I make the arrangements with them, fly down to, they live in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I flew down to Atlanta. They agreed to drive down there and meet me. They picked me up at the airport. We'd already agreed on the price. We went down to my bank, local bank there. I was in Atlanta probably for about 3 hours or so. Made the deal. We got a little bit of information. Apparently these cards belong to his grandfather, who died around the turn of the century, around 2000. He was born around 1901. So when these cards were issued around 1911 or 12, for the next 3 or 4 years, he was probably about 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old as he was collecting these. So this was his childhood collection. They didn't know they existed until after he died, and then they found them all in a paper bag. Had no idea what they were worth, started looking into it. That's when they started coming onto my website, and eventually they gave them to their son. But when he went to school, he gave them back to him. He said he didn't really want the cards, and then they decided, well, they didn't want the cards either, so they contacted me to sell them, and it was a kind of a joint thing between the mom and the dad and the son, and they all had to kind of decide what they were going to do. So during the back and forth of making offers, they would keep him in the loop, and finally we made the deal. I got back with the cards, and as I mentioned, sent a bunch of them off to SGC to get them graded. They did a nice job, got them back to me very quickly. And as I mentioned, those cards were all up on the site. You've seen our contact information scrolling on somewhere on the bottom of the screen there. If you're interested in any of these cards, feel free to call us or send us an email or visit our website at Dave's Vintage Baseball Cards. If by any chance you have been doing some spring cleaning or have checking in your attic or basement, and you live in a home where generations of your family have been there, and you're snooping around and you find an old box with some old baseball cards, we're always looking for this type of collection. And whether you want some help in trying to figure out what the collection is worth, or whether you want to go ahead and sell the collection, we're interested in buying it. And you know, we always get really excited about these kind of old cards, you know, 100-year-old card collections. So thanks for taking the time to watch my video. Happy hunting with your baseball card adventures, and let us know if we can help you, and we'll see you here at Dave's Vintage Baseball Cards real soon. Have a great day, and thanks again.